The US presidential campaign has been described as one of the most bitter in American history between two of the most unpopular candidates. And such has been its divisive nature, it's hard to imagine there's anyone who's on speaking terms with both candidates. But let's hear now from someone who can claim just that. Christopher Ruddy is the CEO of Newsmax, a conservative-leaning media organisation. He's been speaking to NewsHour's James Kumarasamy.
I personally have been supportive of Donald Trump. I've known him for almost 20 years. And I think it's always a binary choice when you come to elections. It's not the most perfect candidate in the world. It's the choice between two candidates. I am a conservative, and I tend to like candidates that seek less government, more economic freedom, and general freedoms, more of the libertarian conservative bent. I, at the same time, have a very good relationship with the Clintons and have known Bill Clinton as a friend for a number of years now, and I know Hillary a little bit, and I greatly respect her. And I've said publicly, shocking to some of my Republican friends, that I think she would make a good president. I think that this might surprise a lot of people around the world. But Donald Trump is not the Donald Trump you're seeing on the campaign. He can be very gracious, charming. He has been a successful businessman. And he's a guy that is actually a lot more pragmatic. I think we're seeing a different Donald Trump for a number of reasons for the theater of the campaign. And Hillary Clinton, despite all the protestations on the right that she's a crazy liberal and this and that, she's a moderate Democrat. She was in the early 90s. Fairly on the left side, health care and all of that. I mean, she's running as more of a right hawk in defense policy than Donald Trump is. So this election is not one easy to decipher.
When you hear the shouts then of lock her up, which you hear frequently at Donald Trump campaigns, rallies, what do you think?
I think it backfires. I think it's the reason why he's trailing in the polls. I've written about this on Newsmax, so I'm not speaking out of school. If he was asking my advice, and I put it in a blog, stick to the issues that really gave you the primaries, gave you the victory there. And those issues were jobs, trade, and security, and border security is linked to that, but dealing with ISIS. People voted for Trump in the primaries, not because he was the perfect candidate, but because he showed strength on these issues. And so instead of talking about these winning issues for Republicans, where we haven't had income growth in over a decade, the public is dissatisfied. They are tired of the Clintons, not because they're bad people. The public just, they've been around for 30 years.
Given where he is in the polls and given that, as you've argued, his strategy in the general election hasn't perhaps been the one that would expand his electorate, what could produce a Trump victory?
The problem is Donald Trump is not fighting against Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump is fighting against a demographic tsunami that's hitting the Republican Party in the United States. The country is becoming very heavily Hispanic. The Republicans haven't adjusted to this reality. I was looking at some census data and shows that every year 2 million Anglo-white voters die over the age of 50. So since the last election, 8 million mostly Republican voters have died. That's why they keep having these elections where Obama wins so well in big numbers and the Republicans sit around shocked by it.
You've known Donald Trump for 20 years. Did you have a chance to say to him, this is not smart politics?
I consider Donald to be the accidental candidate. Because you have to remember, he's been floating his name and running sort of off and on since 1988. And it's been like the magic wish that comes out of the bottle with the genie. He rubs it every 4 years. And I think he got his hit TV show partly because of presidential chatter in the year 2000 or before that. So he said to me several times in the past year that he is shocked or surprised that he's the nominee, that he can't believe it. But he's accepted that fact. I think he thinks that he's going to win. I saw him this summer. He told me he's going to win. So he's very excited about that. It all happened by accident.
And if he doesn't win?
Well, I think the idea that he's going to remain a political leader is small. I know him well enough to know his main focus is business, his brand. I think his celebrity image has been dented a bit, but I think he's going to refocus on that. I don't think he wants to stick around to be rebuilding the political party or the Republicans' hopes in the future. I think he'll be a voice and will have a following, but I don't think he's going to be sitting around as a political force for the next 10 years.
Christopher Ruddy, the CEO of Newsmax, speaking to NewsHour's James Kumarasamy.